In the heart of the Egyptian desert, where ancient winds whisper through the sands and time feels frozen in golden stone, there stands a figure unlike any other. Half lion, half man, the Great Sphinx of Giza. For centuries, it has guarded the plateau silently, its gaze locked to the horizon as though watching over a forgotten past. Tourists marvel at it. Textbooks describe it. Scholars debate it. But a new question has emerged, one that challenges everything we think we know about human history. Is the Sphinx older than the pyramids? Older even than ancient Egypt itself? To understand why this question matters, we must first revisit what we've always been told. According to mainstream archaeology, the Great Sphinx was carved around 2500 BCE, during the reign of Pharaoh Khafra, the same ruler thought to be responsible for the second largest pyramid at Giza. The Sphinx's face, many argue, is a stylized portrait of the pharaoh himself. This view has held for decades, not because it's proven, but because it fits within the accepted timeline. But when you dig deeper, cracks begin to appear in that narrative. Literally. Geologist Dr. Robert Schoch was one of the first to point out a glaring anomaly. During his early 1990s studies of the Sphinx, he noticed that the monument's enclosure, the stone walls surrounding it, showed signs of heavy water erosion. Long vertical fissures carved by rainfall. But Egypt hasn't seen that kind of climate in over 7,000 years. So the question becomes, how could a statue built in 2500 BCE show signs of rain damage from a time long before Egypt's desert climate ever took hold? If the Sphinx had been exposed to heavy rainfall, it must have been built during a period of intense precipitation, perhaps between 7000 and 9000 BCE. That's at least 2,000 years before the first pharaoh even ruled. Before the wheel. Before writing. Before the dawn of what we consider civilization. And that's not the only mystery. Take a closer look at the Sphinx's head. It's strangely small in proportion to its massive body. So small, in fact, that many believe it was recarved, the original head reshaped at a much later date. But what was it before? Some suggest it was once a lion, a symbol of power, protection, and cosmic order used by cultures around the world. Others propose it may have represented something long forgotten. A deity, a king, or a relic from a pre-cataclysmic civilization. Even the dream stele, an ancient stone tablet placed between the Sphinx's paws by Pharaoh Thutmose IV, hints at forgotten origins. It tells of a dream in which the Sphinx, buried under desert sands, speaks to the young prince and offers him the throne if he clears the monument. But this was more than 1,000 years after Khafra. So why was the Sphinx already buried? Why no inscriptions directly linking Khafra to the statue itself? Not a single hieroglyph on the body. No dedicatory marker. Nothing. What if the ancient Egyptians didn't build the Sphinx at all, but inherited it? Imagine that for a moment. A civilization, long lost, wiped away by a natural disaster or a forgotten cataclysm, once stood where Egypt would one day rise. They left behind a marker, a guardian, a silent messenger of their existence. And thousands of years later, the Egyptians came and simply recarved, repurposed, and reimagined it into their own mythology. It sounds like science fiction. Yet, the erosion patterns, the disproportionate design, and the absence of historical context all suggest one thing. The Sphinx doesn't belong to the time we've assigned it. It may be the last remaining proof of a forgotten chapter in human history, one hidden not in books, but in stone. Of course, mainstream scholars dismiss these claims. They argue against the geology, propose alternative explanations, and cling to the conventional timeline. But the sands of Giza tell another story. One without clear answers, but filled with tantalizing clues. The truth is, we don't really know who built the Sphinx, or when, or why. And that's what makes it one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of our world. So the next time you look at the Great Sphinx, don't just see a monument. See a riddle, a question carved in stone, waiting to be answered.